The market is volatile, the stocks keep going down, then boom, we hit new highs. Everything is different now, but you don't gotta chase, don't panic, don't stress. Time to realign, plan it out, invest. It's the First Fruits Podcast. We elevating with the First Fruits Podcast. No time for waiting, time to grow, give back, reinvest like that. Everything you need to know, the First Fruits Podcast. Let's go.
Welcome to another episode of the First Fruits Stock Club. Man, what issues? Yeah, welcome to another episode of the First Fruits Stock Club. Man, I am happy to come here and have time to talk to you guys about the market. As you know, it's my favorite topic, stock market, and I hope everybody's having a great week so far. We're Hump Day, and give it for Hump Day. Cheer for Hump Day. Man. So always, you know, I bring a story about my kids. My son, who I'm very proud of, but you know, sometimes as kids, sometimes you have to direct kids in a direction, right, that they should go. So when they get older, they don't stray away from them, right? So one thing I was discussing with my son, and you know, it was a tough quarter in school. I mean, he did really well. He had really good grades, but he had an issue with one particular class, and so you know, we had to have a discussion about, you know, how to improve, what we need to do, because we're at the beginning of, you know, start of a new semester. I think it's the last semester of the year. You know, our goal is to start off strong, right? And, you know, and he just made some decisions that weren't popular, right? You know, he said, well, some of my friends, you know, they don't have to study and do the things, you know, I need to do. And I said, well, that's not acceptable here. Right? It's not acceptable in this household. I expect you to have all A's and B's. All you got to do is go to school. You're smart enough. You can do the work, right? But you know, you have to do the work. I can't do the work for you. And on the weekend, you need to spend a few moments going over what's going to be going on next week. You know, we talk to him and put him on punishment, you know, for, you know, and he turned around the semester. Let's give a cheer for Trey turning around the semester. Yeah, turn around semester, and but you know, he still just had one grade that wasn't the greatest, you know, but all A's and B's, you know, I'm still proud of him. Man, it was a extracurricular, and the honest truth, I'm not going to tell him I did horrible in this extracurricular class, also. So, man, but all in all. One thing we did is we you know, trying to get my family more to us to go to church more often. You know, up to me, I'll go to church every Sunday, but you know, my wife, my kids, you know, sometimes on Sunday. But every time we go, they love it. We have a great time. We've gone to decided to go to a new church here in Columbia, Maryland, and it was great. And they had a kids group, right? And I had a discussion with my son. I was telling him, I said, look, you need to make better decisions, right? We want you to make good decisions. I said, life is strictly about decisions, right? And decisions sometimes depend on your environment, right? Depend on your environment. So I want to get you into a kids group, right? So you can meet more kids, right? Who are going in the right direction, and who also, you know, you just need to be in a good environment, right? And so he went to kids group, you know, he didn't want to go on there at first. And I was like, look, you just need to, there's going to be other kids that may be going through something, because, you know, he's at the age where he's 13. He doesn't want to tell his parents everything. So I need to get him around positive role models that are maybe going through some of the same things, going through some of the same changes as he's becoming a teenager, and that's why I put him in. So I recommend, if you have a young one, a teenager, man, I'm sorry, or woman, to put them in the church group if you have one. I recommend that. That is something that helped me out a lot. All right, so look, let's get into the market, man. Today's episode, and of course, when we talk about good environments, the First Fruit Stock Club is one of the best environments you can join, right? And joining the First Fruit Stock Club, man. I just want to know the First Fruit Stock Club is a place where we teach how to live and give out of your brokerage account, how to live and give out of your brokerage account. People don't know that you can live out your brokerage account. You can have your lifestyle out of the brokerage account, right? And this is an environment, and if you want to get around people, think about the First Fruit Stock Club. So anyway, today's topic is the rise of the bull. The rise of the bull. Is the bull market back? Right? Is the bull market back? Are we in the next bull market? Right? Is the market, will the market reach new highs? Will we? All right, I'm going to go into that, and I'm going to give you a seven-step set of rules, right? Or framework that allow you to identify a bull market, right? And this is important because a lot of times people only identify bull markets towards the end when all the gains have gotten, and so I'm going to get into that. But before I get into that, I just ask you, everyone, please like, subscribe, and share. Please like, subscribe, and share. Always trying to grow my podcast. I have a podcast too if you like to listen. The First Fruits Stock Club podcast, and also of course I'm on YouTube and Facebook. I go live every Wednesday at 9:00, and we have our club meeting on Thursday at 9. Wednesday at 10, and Thursdays at 9. We have if you decide to join the club, right? So let me just do the disclosure. The information provided in the First Fruit Stock Club podcast is for education and informational purposes only and should not be considered financial, investment, tax, legal advice. The views expressed by the host and the guests are their own and do not reflect the opinions of any financial institution or regulatory authority. Investing in stocks and other securities carries risk, including the potential loss of principal. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Always conduct your own research and consult with a licensed financial professional before making any investment decision. The First Fruit Stock Club and its affiliates do not guarantee any specific outcomes or returns. By listening to this podcast, you acknowledge that you are responsible for your own investment decisions. All right? Own investment decision. So the thing about it is everybody wants to buy stocks in the bull market, when the bull market, everybody wants to get into the bull market. And, and what people see and when they finally decide to get in is really towards the end of the bull market, right? Because the beginning of the bull market is filled with uncertainty, right? It's filled with, will the market go back down? You hit it. Oh, it's gone up too high. And let me tell you this, people say, well, the market's too high. I can't get in it right now. Well, the market's going down. I can't get in right. When you going to get in? When you going to get into the market? The greatest opportunity in the world. You can start with $25. When you going to get in? When you going to do it? And a lot of times we give excuses and well, not now, or the market is the market. It's going to be, and let me tell you, it's never a perfect time. The perfect time was yesterday, right? The perfect time was March 30th at the bottom of the market lows, right? That's the perfect time. That time is gone if you didn't invest in. Now we're at a new period of the market, right? Where we need to invest. And yes, we always invest with some caution because the market was running and it's going to have some drawbacks. You know, a drawdown may draw down a little bit. But for the most part, I really believe that we have started a new bull market, right? And I'm gonna give you 7 steps to identify a bull market today, so you don't catch the end of it, so you catch the beginning of it, right? And this can be one of the greatest financial times in your history. You can say to yourself, man, I never really invested in the market, but I finally did it this time, and I'm so happy, right? Because a lot of times we think back, man, if I just started 5 years ago, if I just started, and we can never go back in the past. All we have is the current, right, and possibly the future, God willing, right? So I think this is an opportunity, and it's not going to be perfect. You're going to hear every other day, Strait of Hormuz is open, it's closed, it's open, it's closed, it's open, it's open, it's open, it's closed, it's closed, it's closed, it's open, it's closed. You're going to hear that. This thing will be going on throughout the summer. And you should be like, I don't care, I'm going to invest. I don't care, I'm going to invest. I don't care, I'm going to invest. And I'm not saying put tons of money in. I'm saying that you should have a set amount that you're putting into the market every week. Right? A set amount that you're putting into the market every week that allows you to continue to invest no matter what. And that's how wealth is born. That's how you invest in the market, right? And you look, I don't care if you're a billionaire, trillionaire, whatever. Every investor has the regrets of the stock that got away. The stock that got away, the idea that got away. If I'd only bought this, that doesn't matter. All we can do is right now, tomorrow when you get up, market opens at 9:30. Are you going to buy a stock tomorrow? Are you going to buy? If you haven't opened, are you going to open up an E-Trade account? Are you going to do that? Are you going to participate in one of the greatest market revolutions, stock market revolution in AI and the AI companies that's been out since 2000, since 1995 in the dot-com, which those companies weren't making money. AI is making companies more efficient. It makes me more efficient if you use it. I mean, I was just back and forth today, talking with a property manager, discussing, the issue I have, this taxes. I'm not going to tell you how much in taxes I paid last year and how much I got to pay this year. And, but we were online. We was like, well, she sent me, and we're talking about accelerated depreciation. So she sent me some information. She sent me through Gemini. And so I went on, I put her information, and I said, I can't do that because I have restraints in regards, in regards to income. If you make too much, there's certain things you can't do. Not to brag, but we couldn't do those things. But AI before, you had to read hours and hours and try to get in like 2 minutes, I got all the information. Well, give me some ideas about depreciation. Pop, 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 pop. Information, coding, people creating their own apps, bringing ideas to life, bringing business strategy to life. This is one of the greatest times I've probably seen in the market. And they said that before in the year 2000. Like I saying my age, I became a stockbroker in the year 2000, right? And man, all these companies, Amazon and Apple, and these companies were small companies. They weren't small companies, but you have companies $5 trillion, $5 trillion. And they're still investing. They're still investing, still putting money into the market, and it's growing. So this is a great time to get started in the market. This is a great time for you if you do have a brokerage account and you've been investing and you haven't been as committed. This is a time. This is a time where you maybe sacrifice some things and get committed and put as much money in that brokerage account as you can. Now, I'm not saying put it all in the market. Same time, you can dollar cost average over time, and this is not financial advice, right? But I'm just saying you shouldn't do it all at the same time. I'm just saying that, it's a great time to start a brokerage account, or to really, if you have a brokerage account and you really just, you kind of, you're in it, but you're out. You're not really focused on it. This is the time where you need to get focused, right? This is the time maybe you need to get into a peer group, people who are investing, right? And take it seriously, because life is lifing, right? Life is lifing, and there are always 10,000 other things you could do, but the market does not care. If you missed this last rally, 100% to it, the market doesn't care at all. You just missed it. There'll be others, but you just missed that one. Okay, the market has just started, in my point of view, but we'll see. All right, so look, let's get into the market, man. Dow Jones Industrial Average, great day off of not yesterday wasn't horrible, but it wasn't a great day yesterday. But great day in the market. Dow Jones up 340 points, S&P 73 points, and the NASDAQ 397 points. S&P 500, 7137. All right. And I did a 1 month chart, and I'm going to go into a little bit more of this when I give you the 7 steps to identifying a bull market, and making sure you're in this bull market early on and not waiting to the end where everybody says wait. S&P 500. Sorry. And I missed Dow. The NASDAQ, right? The NASDAQ. Once again, right? Not as much stair-steppy, but you see the highs and lows. And I brought the wrong chart in here. Where's it? There we go. 1 month chart. If you look at the NASDAQ, man, we've been stair-stepping it up. And I call this Mario, right? I call it Mario because you know how we play Mario Brothers, and you got to go back, and then you got to press A and jump. You got to go back, press A and jump. We've been playing Mario, right? We've been playing Mario in the stock market. And this goes on to one of the behaviors that we're looking at. So let's get into it. Man, this 7-step framework to identify a bull market. We have to be able to identify a bull market early on, right? We have to be able to identify a bull market early on. We can't wait to the end when everybody says it's popular. We have to invest when everything isn't clear, when things are still cloudy. That's where you get some of the greatest deals, is when things are cloudy, right? And a lot of times, when you're doing it by yourself, you don't know where to go. But when things are cloudy, it's one of the hardest times. But that's okay. That is the best time to do it. So step 1, higher highs and higher lows. A bull market usually starts when the market stops making lower lows and begins making higher highs and lows on the chart. That is the clearest price sign that momentum is changing, right? I just discussed Mario Brothers, right? Higher highs. You make a high, then make a step, then it goes to another high, then makes a step, and goes to another high, making higher highs, right? And higher lows. That's what we're looking for. Right? We go back to the chart. Higher high, higher high, higher high, and higher low. All right. So look, that's 1. That's 1 out of 7. We hit one. All right, let's get through the rest of them. Major indexes reclaim key moving averages. Look for the S&P 500, NASDAQ, and the Dow to move back above important moving averages like the 50-day, 200-day. When the price gets above those levels and stay there, that often shows strength is returning. Well, we know the market is off the 200-day, right? And the 50, right? The market is definitely above those points. And it's been constantly making higher highs. All right? All right, let's move to the third one. Strong market breadth. A real bull market is not just driven by a few big stocks. You want to see more stocks rising, more sectors participating, and advancing stocks leading declining stocks, right? You want a lot of stocks in the market to participate, right? And that is not just driven by the big few. It needs to have everybody. Everybody needs to be participating in this market. All right, so we need to watch for that. We need strong breadth. That means all other stocks are participating. All right. Leadership, right? For a while, the Mag 7 was doing horrible. Right? It was doing horrible. Facebook, Alphabet, Google, Amazon. They were doing horrible. Tesla, they were doing horrible. All those stocks are running right now, right? So they've been the leaders for the last few years. Well, the leaders are back. The leaders are back on board, right? The leaders are back on board. That's check number 4. All right, let's go to the next one. Bad news stops pushing prices lower. One of the best signs of a new bull market is when the market hears bad news and does not fall much. That tells you that sellers may be exhausted and buyers are starting to take control. We want buyers to take control of the market. Sellers will get their time, they'll get their run, and they'll run prices down. But the stair step, the stair step has been showing that the sellers try to, we've been buying and the market get exhausted, and the market is, sellers try to get in there, but they can't, right? Because if they do, they try to put in some put orders. Guess what happens? The market goes up and those orders go negative, right? Even on the news, even the bad news, right? We've been getting bad news. The Strait is open, the Strait is closed, the Strait is open, the Strait is closed. Even though the market still has been hitting new highs, right? That's check 5. The rise of the volume confirms the move in healthy bull market. Up days often come with stronger volume than down days. That means institutions may be buying, not just retail traders. We want volume, especially on those green days. We want volume to show that the big boys are moving everybody. And a rising tide lifts all ships. We want to be in the market when the big boys start moving it and they start moving the market, and we just want to float right up with the rising tide, float right up to the top with them. But we have to put ourselves in position, right? That's why I was telling everybody in the club, got to invest every time in this down market. Got to keep investing. We don't know when it's going to turn around, right? You have some ideas but still, all these things have to happen, and they don't happen at the same time. They happen at different times. So we have to look out for these things to move the market forward for us, right? And these are important so we can identify these things in the beginning so we're not catching the intel of it. And like I said, the cloud it gives us confirmation also that it's not perfect. Okay, let's go to the 7 and the final. The bull market. I've been messing up my slides tonight, but you don't know that anyway. A bull market is identified when price trend, participation, leadership, volume, and investor behavior all begin moving in the same positive direction. Right? When all those particular items, when they're moving in the same direction, it is hard for sellers to come into this market because then they end up making bets that don't pan out for them. And then they just, well, man. And I believe if we go through those, I missed the 7, and investor behavior, right, is when people feel like they are missing out and they're starting to get back in. That's what happened. That is the reason, right? If you think about it, that is the reason why, if you go back into the market, that's the reason that why the market didn't fall as much as it did. I mean, even President Trump came on and discussed, he was surprised that the market didn't fall the way it is. And the reason is because people were like, man, I missed that rally last year. I'm not missing this one, right? And then there's a lot of people that miss March 30th, and they needed more confirmation, and they weren't willing to get in that. So now people are starting to get in now. So this is a fulfilling prophecy, right? Market will be going up. And we look at all those factors I just gave you are indication that I think we are in the rise of the bull. Sometimes you got to praise yourself. The rise of the bull. That's where we are. That's where we think. I think we are. Now, it doesn't mean that it's going to be bumpy. I remember, big football fan, and of course the NFL draft I think starts tomorrow, which is great. But I remember, if you watch football, they have these shows on NFL Network. They highlight a particular team. This time it was the Steelers and their Super Bowl run. I'm a Ravens fan, so I really don't want to talk about the Steelers. But I like Mike Tomlin, man. He's a great communicator, right? I'm in the field of communication now, So I'm trying to learn about communicating and being able to get a message out. But, man, he had the great story of the Pittsburgh Steelers where he was discussing how it felt when they won the Super Bowl. And his beginning comments were like, look, he said, when I first, I was so excited to receive the Super Bowl trophy. Right. But when I got it, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Right. It was kind of grimy. It was dirty. Right. And, it wasn't clean and prestige as I imagined it to be. Now, I'm paraphrasing, exactly, but it was in that realm. And what he was saying is that a lot of times when we want pinnacles and we want heights, we think that everything's going to be all clear, right? When we have ideas and we're trying to move things forward, we're trying to move forward financially, we think that everything is going to be all clear and there won't be any issues, right? And that's how this market is right now. There are going to be issues, but if we look at the fundamentals, we look at the framework that I just gave you, we've hit all those items, you consider that a checklist. We've hit all those items on a checklist. And so everybody, we're at a new high and the market's going to fall. Don't get fooled. Don't get fooled. Invest your money. Put your money into the market. It's one of the best things you could do. It's one of the best things as an American that you have access to. The average person can become wealthy. The stock market does not care who you are, doesn't care about your family, your background. It just cares about, did you invest? When it gave you the opportunity, did you take advantage of it? And to that note, man, I am closing for today's show. Thank you guys for giving me a few moments of your time. And always, and I'm going to, always, if you're looking for a community to join, and, you're looking for somewhere, where the conversations that you're having are not the conversations about wealth, about investing, join the First Fruit Stock Club. We're a positive community. We believe in living, right, and giving out of our brokerage account. Thank you so much for giving me a few moments of your time. And until next time, God willing, be fruitful. Everybody, have a good one.
The market is volatile. The stocks keep going down. Then boom, we hit new highs. Everything is different now, but you don't gotta chase. Don't panic, don't stress. Time to realign, plan it out, invest. It's the First Fruits Podcast. We elevating with the First Fruits Podcast. No time for waiting, time to grow, give back, reinvest like that. Everything you need to know, the First Fruits Podcast. Let's go.